group stage. Yakult just trying to stay alive. This is a must-win for Yakult. For BetBoom, they could lose and still go through some tiebreaker situations, potentially. But yeah, this is the Huskar last pick for GPK.
And I do believe if BetBoom were to win this series, they're guaranteed a tiebreaker for second place.
If they win, you mean? Yeah.
Yes. Now
yes.
that
Correct.
we have the result from the Talon
Yeah,
Liquid series
correct.
already in. So, yeah, effectively, if you think about it, BetBoom are playing to try to get an extra life in the playoffs bracket.
They're going to get the root. Kiritich will... Oh, actually, the power shot making this interesting. Attempting the TP out. The blood grenade. It's not going to be enough for him to get away. Kiritich, first blood. That's a big one onto the Terrorblade. Our favorite hero of this patch. And the last 30.
It's really good to see him back in the meta after...
That's right.
Yep.
Huskar, though, Cinderin, last picked. GPK picks up the incendiary facet, so this is the extra damage to both the burning spears on the enemy and yourself. That's percentage-based.
Yeah.
So very strong.
There's nothing, there's no real value to cauterize here, right? Like, what would you remove? Cursed, I guess. Arcane
Already
Cursed?
getting really low. GPK.
Yeah, they're both trading very aggressively.
All right.
Good start for Emo, though, with the first wave. But, yeah, so the panel seems to think that this is a very BetBoom, or not necessarily a BetBoom favorite draft, but that it's a game that they can completely run away with if things go right. And I kind of echo that sentiment that it's a bit worrisome that you don't have too good damage against the Huskar until Lina gets multiple right-click items. This just seems like a great last pick. And I've said this before, I don't think this is one of GPK's best heroes, but they won't shy away from picking it when the conditions are good enough, and it doesn't get much better than this. So much magic damage you care way less about than other heroes, and you have Oracle backing you up. The X factor is the global silence, right? I think Ollie has to be very wary of how he uses his ult, because every time it's not available, GPK, once he has an armlet, can kind of play more aggressively than usual.
Yeah, early on, though, Emo off to a pretty good start for the CS department. Ollie going to take a shield crash from Miero. Save with the blood grenade as well. Power shot, that's enough. It's going to be a trade as Ollie will take out Save in the end.
Mid lane's going to start getting hard now. GPK has
There's
the, when you hit level 3. Oh, but that's the wild card.
Yeah, he's going to Quelling Blade his way out.
Not
and
enough.
the Berserker's Blood, enough regen. Good attempt, though, from Yakult. Now, do you think this is going to be a 20-minute game? Do you think that GPK can get off to the same kind of start?
I think he might be about to... Oh, he missed the Remnant! Emo! Oh. The static slide sends it past him. Might have been able to kill GPK there, actually, in the river. That would have been massive. Had big ramifications on this game, of course. Huskar, very polarizing hero in his own right. But
He's cool.
If Storm could somehow win this lane, that would be something else. But now Emo has effectively expended most of his resources. GPK, well...
Oh, Electric Vortex back in. GPK pops the Fairy Fire and dies. So Emo still gets the kill, even after missing the spell earlier. Miero, in the meantime, top lane, getting harassed down to a low degree. Can't get the shield crash off in time. So 2 kills for Yakult across the board.
This is starting out really well for them. The Emo kill, obviously the biggest one. How often do you see Orb of Frost on Storm?
Yeah, that's true.
He is.
That's
this
cool.
is 100% only something he buys in this exact matchup mid. Otherwise, he will never buy this. And it pays off. Maybe GPK not accounting for this. You know, it's a game of feel a lot of the time, especially for Huskar. So we got surprised a little bit with the impact that Emo could find from that item. That's big. You're still not too out of that mid lane, of course. It's effectively now that Storm had to walk back to base, it's kind of even. But even against Huskar, most of the time is a win.
Yeah. Emo has a bit of an XP advantage, and that's going to be important at the level 6 GPK. You can see the Nature's Prophet coming in from behind. This might be another death for him. He will drop Emo burning to the ground. Ends up being a trade, but again, no XP for GPK. So 2 deaths for the Huskar.
Yeah, now BBoKa gets to get some nice experience here because neither of the mid heroes can go here. Oh, he's actually going to pull the wave? Okay, sticking around for the Sprout kill and the range creep, and now he's going to start pulling this over to the Storm, who has to run all the way from base, recognizing that this experience is going to be crucial for Emo. Of course, similar predicament here for GPK, who finally now has TP ready, but might not even get the experience of this range. Just barely gets the range creep. Okay. Yeah, still behind Storm as a result now. Inexperience.
Yeah, for sure. Mero getting really low here. Save, doing some good harassment to Fly. Always have to be careful of the power shot with the kill shot facet, that is.
Yeah, it would have been interesting if that was on the team that was against Huskar.
Yeah, might have been another reason that they actually took it is power shot comes through, not enough for the kill. But Fly gonna get dove under the tower. Save, wants to get that last right click kill, find it. It'll be the death of him though, as BBoKa makes his way. Mero immediately eats his way out of it with the quelling. BBoKa very active early on this Nature's Prophet, as Beyond was beyond the laning stage here, or the lane I should say. Ends up getting killed off.
Yep. A lot of early action, love to see it. The biggest lane win, without a doubt, is the bottom lane, though. BetBoom with a massive advantage in that aspect. Terrorblade up to almost 3,000 net worth to Centaur 1,700. So that's where the big win is at. But it's good news for Yakult that the mid lane has gone the way it has. Emo close to getting 6. Oh, he's in trouble now, though. Trying to get
the root. Save. Has the shackle as well. GPK is getting low. They're going to kill him off with the power shot. So Emo already out of the fight as GPK can continue on to BBoKa. He'll get that kill. Ollie. He's just in a 1v3 and he cannot find the damage. So a huge rotation for BetBoom, and now GPK pretty close to level 6. And for the Storm, now they're still pretty close on XP, but it looks like GPK will get there first, which is really important so that they could potentially stick around here.
Oh, they're going to try to zone him off with experience. Flank play from Save.
Yeah, there's a TP coming in. GPK not quite level 6 yet. They get the purge or the root onto 2 into the shackle. GPK actually dies inside the Sprout, but they do end up taking out Emo. That was the intended target from the start. The Save will likely be the second to fall here, trying to deny himself. A good attempt, but not to be. Very, very action-packed.
16 kills in 7 minutes. In the previous series, at one of the games, we had 0 right now. For another 6 minutes, actually, in game number 1.
That's right.
And these teams are getting... I mean, it's the nature of the strategy that you will have a lot of kills here. There's just going to be so much focus on the Huskar versus Storm matchup. It's how much it's going to influence who comes out the ultimate victor. So all the heroes getting very involved. This also does mean that the supports are actually going to be very high level in this game. When you have a bit of a kill exchange fest and the supports get to both kill and die, they will close in on the cores in terms of experience. You're seeing every support in the game right now is level 5.
Yeah, Fortune's end onto Beyond. Looks to be dead. Onto the tier 1. That was a really long chase.
Yeah.
As GPK, he has life break now, but he's outnumbered this time. Gets it off onto the high ground, dies shortly after it. That is
no time to breathe in this game for anyone.
That is death number 4 for him.
Well, Heritage will remain king of the hill, but Fly has closed the gap a little bit on his Lina. This is a game that carry Lina can absolutely hard carry, though. Misery was talking about this, that once Lina gets to 3 or 4 items here, it can get spicy. It's one of the carry heroes that can beat Terrorblade at his own game because you have so high range and you have mixed damage.
Very early Sunder from Kiritich. Going to force out the Stampede.
I'll get out.
And they'll just call that a trade.
So if Fly continues this farm, obviously you are a hero that buys Mjolnir, which is nice against Terrorblade. You have mixed damage, you have the long range, you have super high attack speed too. And your reflection illusion is not very strong. So there's a lot of upsides for Lina in this matchup. Also good against Huskar for similar reasons. The magic part not so much, but the high range and the burst type, bursting nature of the way you deal damage. Bot tower about to be claimed for the side of BetBoom now. Maybe trying for a deny here. Nicely done from Beyond.
Bottom tower has been denied. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So Emo has a Soul Ring right now along with the Treads. And the Huskar, Mr. GPK, just finished the Armlet.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Which for him, of course, very important.
Yeah, Armlet and Oracle 6 is where it's at for the Huskar. GPK will be rushing Blink next. I really like to see this here. I think you want to take an almost initiator type role in this game when you know you have Oracle on backup. Oh,
Arcane Rune snagged by Emo. Fortune's End will eventually get him, but he is way far away. But Tier 1 tower has to be sacked for Yakult.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
GPK trying to look as juicy as possible for them to go on him, but they know that there are supports shadowing him at the moment.
Yeah, Katomi gets 6 now. One more creep. There we go. False Promise on unlocked.
We have a TP coming in from the Nature's Prophet. Actually scares off Save.
Dire are scanning.
And ever so quietly, just like a slight advantage is being inched out here by BetBoom by the minute. Terrorblade staying ahead. Pain goes a bit ahead of Centaur. But of course, the wild card in a game like this is the fact that Prophet should eclipse the supports of the enemy team.
Radiant
Curious to
are
see what
scanning.
Boboka buys. Opting not to go for Vessel against the Huskar because of the Oracle cover, you would assume. It's going to rush the Pavis.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Maybe they're just looking to amp up their Lina to critical mass. Like, get a Solar Crest for the Lina and play on her right-click as the primary means of solving the problems that you're inevitably going to have. But this is when things get spicy. BetBoom can really kick up the pace. They understand just how strong their Huskar is. Going to take the top tower as well without him even. He wasn't even a part of that play.
Yep.
Yakult's team just not really geared for fighting yet. They're a bit more level and item dependent than the side of BetBoom. But they have unlocked Global Silence, which is the big one. It allows them to go on the Huskar without Oracle protecting him. Unless you are super clutch. Of course, there's the cool counterplay that Oracle has against Silencer. The old school, in anticipation of Global, you begin casting Purge on yourself.
Yeah.
And then when Global Silence goes off, you immediately stop the Global Silence because you purge yourself instantly since the channel gets stopped.
That's
and then
really hard.
It's really high skill, but at the same time, there are certain situations where it can be pretty telegraphed. Like, let's say you're in the mid game and Storm is jumping your Huskar. You just instantly start Fortune's Ending yourself.
Right.
But then it becomes a mind game where Silencer can just be like, well, I think you're going to do that, so I will wait.
Right.
But, you know, it's
Pretty cool.
it's like the only support that has this counterplay against Silencer, right? It's pretty interesting.
We have TPs down here. As BetBoom want to make something happen. Going to wrap around, and well, they could potentially run into someone here, although starting to run the other way, so it doesn't look like it's going to end up resulting in a kill unless they want to go on top of Beyond here under the tier 2.
I mean, he's the worst. He's the worst target. He's got Vanguard Blade Mail and a pair of Underpants Sister Shroud.
Yep, those are powerful.
Yeah. Oh, they will go on him, though.
They will. Life Break to start things out. Pops the Stampede. There's the Global Silence as well. Gets the Hoof Stomp onto GPK, but there's the False Promise, and Beyond is dead.
Yeah, that Global is too early. There needs to be a Storm on top of him when that gets cast so they can actually get the kill. If they don't instantly connect, Katomi will very easily protect GPK with a False Promise. And you could see from Yakult's perspective, the moment False Promise went out, they immediately just tucked tail and ran. There's no play.
And I'll say that this game, not just because there's a Lina, but Centaur Ags, I think, is going to be a relatively early purchase. We'll talk about that in just a moment. It's a zip in from Emo onto Kiritich. Gets silenced by the last word at half HP, looking for a Sunder target. They gets it off at the last moment, and Emo dies as Kiritich will likely end up being traded. Save takes out Ollie in the meantime. That is not how it's supposed to go for Yakult.
That is such a good result for BetBoom. That was a 4v2, and they trade 2 for 1. Courtesy of a clutch Thunder. You're going to say something about Centaur Ags?
Oh, it's good this game.
Just to protect the Lina from the Huskar and keep her attacking.
Once the Huskar Ags comes online, it can be pretty hard, especially when you get a blink on top of it.
Yeah.
The taunt is very powerful. But yeah, the Centaur Ags against that, and then on top of that, you just have the Lina anyway.
Yeah.
It's a crazy target to have in your cart.
I'm assuming if Huskar taunts you and you get put in the cart, you're still attacking from the cart for the remainder of the taunt duration.
Yep, I would think so. Now, the problem is he really wants to get Shivas this game against the Huskar, so it might be later down the road. Depends on what he prioritizes.
I'm kind of with you. I think he has to rush Ags after Blink on Centaur. I think it's very good this game.
Before Shivas.
Yes. I don't actually think Shivas is equally important when you have Oracle in the game.
Oh. Save.
We picked off.
Does take them a while. Kiritich just farming away nearby.
I have to say, it's cool to see Boboka on Prophet again. This is one of his old classics that he used to play a lot more years ago. One of his better non-melee 4s, in my opinion, if not his best. So when it is a patch where this is gaining prevalence, Boboka will be eager to run it. Had an all-right game so far here. Yeah, you could definitely tell, you know, there's just some players that instinctually in their gameplay are very kill-hungry. So you have those aggressive support players, they love to play Prophet because it just unlocks that part of your skill set as a player. If you're very good at understanding map macro and making moves, then this hero is for you. GPK will be getting Aegis #1, which is pretty standard timing here for the Huskar.
He's got the Quinn armlet toggling going on there in the pit.
Is top net worth. That is
despite all the
very
bats.
rare for GPK Huskar, I will say.
Is it?
This is a good sign, yes. The games of GPK that we have cast,
Oh yeah,
on
he's one of
Huskar,
his weaker heroes.
he generally gets like 3rd, 4th net worth maybe.
Oh!
And then they still...
Laguna and Global used for a kill onto a support. That was an amazing Fate's Edict to block off the damage from Laguna. That's pretty big. I feel like BetBoom, especially with this Aegis,
They should
can
do
get
something
ultra
now.
aggressive now.
For sure. Atos.
Atos onto the Storm. Shackle onto the tree. GPK with the life break. The silence to follow. And death for Emo.
This matchup has changed fundamentally so much in
Yeah,
Huskar's
Inner Fire,
favor.
totally
After
different
Inner
now.
Fire became a silence instead of a disarm.
True.
It's so much better for Huskar against Storm. A big part of the consideration when you run this hero nowadays is factoring in whether that silence is good for the game or not. Also, good read from Flyflight to TP out. That was about to get spicy.
Radiant are scanning.
Still, though, I think BetBoom will just get an uncontested tier 2 now. There's not really much you can do about it. This is Yakult. And this is what the panel was talking about. This critical point in the game is where the BetBoom lineup is at its... Not even necessarily at its most fearsome, but the one where they're, on paper, the most ahead on draft will be in this next 5-minute mark, or 5-minute window. This lineup can win ultra late game. Huskar is a different hero than a couple of years back. He can play ultra late game scenarios together with Terrorblade and Pango. You're not like on a timer in this game. This is just when you're best relative to the enemy lineup. So you want to get all the benefits that you can. We're up to 4 towers claimed so far. Emo looking for a play onto Kataomi, but the early dagger.
Yeah, I like
Really
it.
nice for Orc. I mean,
Very
it's
cool.
the item on this hero, especially in this game. So,
You're saying that's normal to get it first?
yeah.
Really?
I think in the current meta, this is this would be the go-to item for Oracle, I would say. I think, because Oracle is a lot more binary than certain other support heroes in in the fact that this is all about the one clutch save. It's everything this guy does. So you want to make sure you can be in a safe position to not be the primary target, and then your job is, all right, guy gets jumped, I'm going to blink, Fate's Edict, False Promise him, one or the other, or both. And it's infinitely more important than having, say, a Glimmer Cape. I think if your game is good enough, then this item is really what makes it. So there's going to be the Global Silence, once again, as the solution that Yakult bros do have, but hasn't really come into play just yet encountering the Oracle, to be fair. That's the 5th tower down.
Indeed.
For BetBoom.
Emo working on a Yules, which will take off that silence from the inner fire, of course.
Yeah.
A little surprised. I mean, GPK, he's going for S and Y. I'm not saying that's not normal. Don't you typically go Ags before that? Or at least earlier in this build, generally?
It varies. I would say, I think we see Ags more often than the Sanj and Yasha.
Either way, I'm sure it's going to be S and Y, Ags, Blink, something like that, right?
Yeah, it should be. Gonna TP mid. This is a fake. It's a Storm Illusion. He's gonna get baited by it. So, nice little play there from Emo, wasting GPK's time. He went for the TP into ult on nothing. The ult cooldown obviously irrelevant, but just that little bit of a waste of time to buy some space. Name of the game for the Dire here is Weather the Storm, literally. Buy time over and over again. If you get late enough, it's not a given that you're going to win this minute 45 or whatever, but your chances should be increasing by the minute.
Stormy will be taken by BetBoom, so the age is going to be expiring here relatively shortly. Wow, Miero.
That's
so they
getting
already
free
had,
roll up is super.
They
nice.
already had Windrunner shard, so the Gale
Force.
Force. Yeah, that's super valuable.
This is definitely better than Ring of Destiny. This game, roll up is such an.
Well, not gonna be able to use it yet because of the global silence, as Miero does eventually fall.
It's not the heat, it's the humiliation.
Now the question for me is, well, I guess you could just get the Disperser. He's gonna go Lotus actually on the Pango, but you could also go Disperser.
Lotus has some added value here. It can reflect Storm Pull, can reflect Laguna. It's decent. I like the Lotus better overall, so it's solid. That's a Terrorblade in the game, by the way. He's hitting creeps. Back to you.
Yeah. I purposely not talked about this hero. Just recycled information. Kiritich.
Oh, he's
still playing Terrorblade.
He used Reflection.
Use the spell, and back to farming he goes. Now
all in a
15.
day's work.
So on his way to a Hurricane Pike, and then the Scotty.
Yeah, standard stuff. Scotty, I feel like this item's going to get nerfed pretty soon, actually. The changed build-up that they made, perhaps a little bit overtuned.
I don't think it's like beyond broken though. Like, I think taking off a few stats.
Yeah, with something like that is what I mean.
I do think I want to see more hearts personally, so I would like to see that get a slight nerf or buff. Rolling Thunder from Miero. They're smoked up as they're going to run right into the Silencer, although they find the Lina instead. Much bigger target, of course. Big kill onto Fly.
Whoa, Baboka,
and
what are you thinking?
TPing in, thinking that there was maybe a global silence to be used here. That is on cooldown for another 8 seconds. See his kill shot with the power shot.
Yeah, Baboka showcasing his experience with Nature's Prophet, of course. I don't really know what that was. That was a little bit wild.
I wonder if BetBoom timed the global silence cooldown, because it was like 10 seconds away.
Could be.
There's Miero.
Good poke on
try to force the issue here. Oh, the kill shot actually misses, but it matters not. They're still going to be able to kill its silencer off, and now on the tier 3 tower is GPK pushing the bottom lane in the midst of all this.
Yeah, so Emo cutting mid isn't even going to solve the problem here. This is how you avoid losing barracks, is by having Storm consistently cut mid while the enemy team's pushing, but yeah, the bottom wave's still alive, so first lane of barracks, 23 minutes. This was that point in the game that was going to get the scariest for Yakult, and it did.
Not going to bother with the range. Eventually will fall.
They got what they needed. No need to give any opportunity over to the opposing side. And yeah, all of this just off of one Lina kill. It just opens it.
So I'm going to reopen the discussion here. Thoughts on, let's watch the replay first, actually, since it's not relevant, as always.
Kill force has been really good so far.
Yeah, the global silence really is the reason that BetBoom can do this.
Yep.
Just a little bit off.
Baboka.
He's pretty happy.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably laughing at his own teleport, if I have to guess. What do you want to reopen?
Range racks upgrading siege units.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it.
I wonder why range racks have not been touched ever.
Yeah, I think you could definitely upgrade the siege units, just not by too much.
No, it doesn't need to be crazy.
Why not?
Just trebuchets.
Yeah.
Double the range.
Yeah, or you could upgrade the siege units into Nature's Prophet's Treants instead. Yeah. Great.
That's right.
Of course, the best siege unit Dota has ever had.
Smoke from Yakult.
Or little baby Leshraks casting.
Needing to find something. It's an Oracle.
It's a good find. Now, if they could snowball this into another
Huskar. He wants to fight, though. Stampede, but the Storm Spirit, he's getting gone on. The Global Silence comes out to make sure that Emo can get away this time, so end up having to use the Global, and again, that's the big one for Yakult.
All they're going to get is the Oracle, and now that this is down for a minute and a half, perhaps BetBoom can...
Oh, Shackle actually does hit.
Shackle. No follow-up, though. Terribly, it's far away. GPK still has his 9-seconder ready.
Oh, they're going to try to take out save, but the big life break from GPK onto the Centaur. He deletes Emo, though, just happened to be there with the inner fire going off. So the silence again will be the doom of the Storm Spirit. Laguna Blade deletes Kiritich, though, as Fly not afraid. GPK trying to run away now. He's going to get false promise at the last moment. Baboka is certainly dead. Fly fighting against the illusions at this point will BKB TP away. The Nightfall special gets back to base in time. GPK back to full HP. And they'll find another kill in the name of BetBoom. Baboka does actually live here.
Yeah, he survived.
That required a buyback for save. Started off actually okay for Yakult.
Getting that kill on Terrorblade is the only reason they even stand a chance there. He got caught off guard on Kiritich, got Laguna Bladed when he was low. He was looking for a Sunder. If that Sunder comes out, it's a 5-0 fight. Really important that Fly found that for the side of Yakult, but still BetBoom definitely not unhappy overall with the state of the game. You see these damage numbers from GPK look quite ridiculous. These long extended fights.
He almost has Axe now.
Pump faking the TP of Prophet. Yeah. They know they're there.
This could get interesting. Rolling Thunder from Miero. Nature's Prophet, the recipient. Shackle not going to hit Emo, as he's actually put in the pit. And Laguna onto Miero does literally nothing, but they're going to initiate right onto GPK. But he is healing through all of this, but eventually does finally get sniped out.
Like of Oracle, this really is about what supports have ultis ready. It's so important whether there's Oracle ulti and whether there's Global Silence.
Mid is pushing in, so see how long they can stay around here. Yeah, the initiation on the Miera. The Global Silence comes out, and that means you got to force step to the high ground if you are Kiritich. Save, Hoof Stomp, nice Fate's Edict to avoid all this magic damage. LSA holds him in place. Eventually, save is dropping to the deck, and that's 70 seconds. That's essentially a dieback. Miera, high ground, okay.
Wow, okay.
GPK is up in 15 seconds as Roche belches right in their face. And remember, the creeps are still pushing in the mid lane. As Yakult
this is
going to be scouted by this illusion. And Emo will claim the Aegis, so a big find for Yakult. How much did they get in the base here? Only a little bit of damage to the Tier 4s, not much at all.
Tier 4s are pretty good nowadays. They will defend for a long time.
I guess that range rack's not getting taken out. Actually tanked up a lot of damage.
True.
Now they're going to get their trebuchets, though, for the BetBoom side.
You wish.
Would that be broken if it's the same siege unit, they just have longer range? That's kind of interesting.
There's like 100 ways you could make them better.
Yeah, but that's interesting. Yeah. Right? I think that's interesting. Because then you got to come farther out of your base to contest it.
Yeah.
I like that.
You
patent that one.
Yeah.
Somebody sent an email to Gabe Newell. And Ice Frog, of course. course.
Also make the siege units shoot burning oil.
That could be an upgrade.
Yeah.
You spend money on.
Yeah, we need some...
You know what's funny is I'm making these suggestions just like I did 10 years ago, and the reaction that you have is quite different now.
Yeah, I've given up.
You know it's a possibility. It could be real one day.
Yeah.
You see mana bars, Syndrome? You see the enemy mana bars?
I see everything.
It's great.
Yeah.
Quality of life.
Gotta get with the times, Shannon. It's an ever-changing game. And so I think in terms of that, what I am starting to be less and less critical about when you suggest is certain things that just are either a little bit wacky or quality of life. I think that's completely fine. The thing that I'm most worried about at this point is just bloat.
I feel very bloated right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Smoke from BetBoom. BKB is now up for Terrorblade. So he's been having some issues staying alive with the Laguna and whatnot, but
Radiant
that is going to help
scanning.
quite a bit. So BetBoom looking for a fight despite being against this Aegis on Emo. And GPK, of course, did finish the Aghanims. Oh, this is a big rune. Arcane rune. They're going to try to bait it. Emo. Emo, Emo, Emo! He actually zips away in time. Arcane rune was taken by GPK, though. That was very close. Actually used the Rolling Thunder, so that's a cooldown down for BetBoom.
That was a nice attempt. Really like the idea of going for the very quick Rolling Thunder when Storm zips, maybe catching him off guard, but Emo was aware of the risk. Didn't get caught. At the same time, though, he spent a ton of mana on it, and you're not really using the Aegis for anything.
You're
To
more
be fair,
taking it away.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. It's more important that BetBoom don't have it than you do. The ultimate goal of this game, of course, for the side of Yakult Bros is just to get to that late game stage.
That feels like always for them.
Yeah, that's when they shine.
Yeah.
I think it's in some ways fair to say this is probably a top 3 late game team of this tournament. Unfortunately, they're 2 and 4 because a lot of the times they get to late game, they're horribly behind, and it becomes an uphill battle. But they've been playing really good defensive Dota in a lot of the games. So if they get to late game on even footing, might have a good shot against a team
Inner
like that.
Fire, the cooldown is lowered, and it causes to well, it applies a movement slow and heals Huskar for percentage of the damage dealt to enemies.
Yeah,
Pretty nice.
mainly about the slow. The heal not so important with Oracle, I would think. There's enough where that came from.
Radiant
That might make a
are
difference.
scanning.
It's gonna go Satanic next on GPK. Standard stuff for Husk.
Well, he did not go Blink, though.
That's true. The very first item he queued up after Armlet, and I praised it, and then he bought 3 other items and gave up on it.
I guess so.
Maybe he heard I liked it. Maybe he felt in the cosmos that I enjoyed something. He was like, therefore it must be bad.
Probably a good call.
Statistically, probably not far off, to be honest, in this day and age.
40 seconds on the Aegis. Emo and company can actually try to take a fight here if they really want. I mean, this is the best
This is
hero
the
in
time
Dota.
to use the Aegis.
Best hero in Dota to have Aegis. But it looks like they're playing it safe here. Or at least BetBoom keeping their distance. And now, when it starts to get lower, that's when you have to be a bit careful with BetBoom timing it.
Who turned up
I like this from Baboka. He's closing in on Aghanims. That's the Solar Crest Force Staff. The Ags. An interesting item to have in your back pocket against an Oracle with Dagger. Because then if you enter a fight and you see Oracle at all on your map, you just cast ult, you root him, and then he can't save the Huskar. Because he's, first of all, has to dispel himself, but also takes damage. So the blink will be off the table.
Off the hizzy.
Yeah. I already forgot that was a thing again, which it never was to begin with. So
No, because that was
makes
up
sense.
the hizzy. I changed it.
Well, it's incredible, but it's even worse. Off the hizzy. What are you talking?
Smoke from BetBoom. See the wrapping around to the triangle. Looks like this might actually work. That's exactly where Yakult are.
Yeah, but they seem kind of wary that this could be coming based on their relative hero positions. As long as Ollie doesn't get jumped, you get global off. Let's be careful as BetBoom here with how you into this fight. Fly.
Instant BKB, the shackle onto the silencer though, so they're getting a lot of the spells off already. Stampede and now Global Silence. The Rolling Thunder still doing work though, but the Fly Lina drops to the deck. Baboka next on the list. 3 dead for Yakult. And Emo, super low on HP, does zip and TPs to base, but yeah, BetBoom.
That's
this
a
is
second
where a
lane,
second
right?
Rax will likely come.
So for a moment, as I was saying, I thought Yakult were ready for that, and that was an instant Lina BKB, so can't even blame Fly for slow reactions. He just couldn't stand his ground because he doesn't have Satanic. He got bullied out by the Huskar plus Terrorblade combination and ends up dying to the Burning Spears. And of course, if they were fully anticipating this move, Lina would not have been the front. Right? That should have been someone else taking the initial blow. It should have been Centaur leading the charge there.
They do have buyback on Fly. He didn't have it a moment ago, so this is an option for Yakult. No global, though.
Crimson into Glyph. I think they should give the second lane rather than buyback.
GPK.
Never mind.
There's the buyback from Fly, but the early false promise on the GPK. He's going to life break onto the Lina, getting her really low. This is going to be a dieback for Fly. The BKB doing work for GPK as Kiritich looks to finish the job. Lina out for the rest of the game in all likelihood. As GPK applying some pressure to Beyond. Emo gets back to base safely. Rolling Thunder from Miera will continue as Beyond, life broken, back to base. No buyback for him. And GG's will come out. Nice shackle to end the game as well as BetBoom will take game number 1. And Yakult are going to have to do a reverse sweep to stay in this tournament. Will it happen?
I think the panel kind of hit the nail on the head with the Viper being a very early response to the TA, and then it just doesn't end up laning against it. BetBoom are swapping GPK onto it. This is one of his classic heroes, so when BetBoom get their hands on this, you don't know whether it's going to be Kiritich or if it's going to be run mid by GPK. And we saw as, despite this hero being overall first picked almost always when it's in the pool, it has a 17-5 score. So very, very powerful hero in this tournament.
You were disgusted when you saw it.
Oh, that's a big word, but if I could pick a singular hero in Dota to not let through the draft, it would be this one. I just think it does so much. It has the lane flexibility. We'll look at a fight here first, potentially.
We sure will. Baboka, he's already low. He gets the ice shards off. No snowball to work with, and he's first blooded. GPK pops the fairy fire, dies before Beyond. As Kataomi getting low as well, but the bigger kill coming out. So what does this end up being here as the silencer drops in addition? Kiritich, blood grenade. Not often you see the blood grenade kill somebody just outright immediately.
I don't know if I've ever seen that play before. TP into killing instantly with blood grenade. Feels like a slam dunk, you know. That's funny. Well,
so a 3 for 3. I think first blood went to BetBoom if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Beyond already getting gone on here in the top lane. This is an off lane Viper, which we'll get to in just a moment, and that moment has come.
Yep. Off lane Viper, ladies and gentlemen.
Your
the
thoughts?
Viper is in the off lane. I mean, they picked it as a response to TA. They were hoping to lane it against her and make her game difficult, but then now that you end up playing into Weaver Naga, I don't think Viper is particularly good against this lane, so you're still going to get some farm, but you're not going to crush the carry. And this, largely, when you put it in the off lane, is picked as an anti-carry.
Dave looks to be dead here. Brain drain for Ollie. Miera playing one of his best heroes, the Beastmaster.
This is definitely Yakult's best lane on paper, though. It's the Kunkka Silencer against Beast plus Windranger. I think this should be a lane that they are expected to win. The carry Kunkka has been doing very well this tournament. A lot of good matchups. And with the level advantage that these two had, they were making quick work of it on to save. He was 1 CS away from getting wind run, and he probably would have lived, but not going to happen. And in mid, I was talking about this. So GPK on this hero, fundamentally, BetBoom will be playing the game differently when GPK plays TA than when he plays, let's say, something like a Kunkka. But I think the upside for BetBoom is that they have a lot of experience playing with GPK on greedier heroes, whereas, say, some other teams want to flex away their TA onto mid, and maybe their mid players like a Spirit Specialist or something, you know? Like, you wouldn't put Emo on TA. He can play it, but it's not their identity as a team in this tournament. So that little extra flex that BetBoom have gives them big advantage in this draft, because it forced out a Viper pick, or baited out rather, and the response not necessarily too inspiring here from the side of Yakult brothers. We talked about the innate as well, TA. Of course, being able to know when Roshan spawns.
True.
At a pro level, this becomes increasingly more important, as a lot of strategic decisions are made around uncertainty around Rosh, and you will just know every time.
Yeah.
So you can plan it perfectly, you can make the gank that you need.
Would you rather that be, I know you don't like the concept, would you rather that be on a hero that sucks at taking Rosh? Has no actual sense in that being a part of it? Is Baboka fighting for the Lotus, as Beyond doing a lot of damage to Kiritich. He has to be careful. Doesn't have Shakuchi. He's just dead. As Baboka will win the battle.
I think he had a lot of one charges. You get that from laning against Weaver. A nice grab there for the side of Yakult. Well, they really thought they were going to win that fight, but Naga Siren doesn't really necessarily do that much damage. You've got the one Deluge. But I don't know if he was level 3 at the time.
Oh, is he dead? My goodness. The wind run actually killed him. Oh, boy. Yes, Baboka still on low HP from that earlier engagement, but will live.
This is a good start from Yakult.
Yeah.
It's
I want to ask you a question
very
about Viper,
important
though.
for them this game.
So Viper, you said, was picked to try to counteract the TA, which is lane switch and whatnot. The only time that we've seen Viper has been, there's an obvious break, right, with the Viper strike. Now, how good, I know it's not traditional, how good is it against GPK with the Psy Blades? Because you can't fight, surely, right?
Yeah, it's not bad. I guess you lose the attack range too, right? While you're broken.
I mean, I would assume so, but
all of the aspects of it. That's interesting. It's likely to have a decent impact, but I mean, either way, you want to Viper Strike him all game, right? But even if there was nothing to break, he would still be your target, because you want to remove his attack speed and cripple him and take off his barrier.
Yeah.
That is a good point. Side Blades, of course, are so much better than they were a couple of years ago. Skill has just been upgraded over and over and over again. But yeah, for Yakult, they end up not getting the lane matchup they wanted with the Viper against TA, but that one kill he gets on Kiritich is actually very big for Beyond now. Viper very much a knife's edge kind of hero, where if you're ahead in the laning stage, you can compound the advantage and really get ahead, but if you die once or twice, you can just fall completely flat. So him getting that singular kill is definitely very good news. Oh, Flyfly actually going to miss
Arrow.
the cleave. Still,
he's going to tick out. Flyfly gets credit for that one. Power shot onto tube. Save. Won't be able to finish anyone. Although Flyfly getting really low, so the next power shot in 5 seconds. If he can snipe this out. 2, 1, and he's going to go for it. Whoa, way off. He had vision of him, too.
Going on the creeps?
Yeah, okay. Interesting. Is he actually going to die here?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude.
BetBoom, what doing?
He was showing on the creep wave. It was in clear vision, wasn't he?
I think so. It can be a little bit deceptive when we're watching it from a spectator POV, but I would have thought he was close enough to the creeps. Maybe anticipating that the Kunkka would go for a juke, so he was trying to shoot behind him, but he shot very far behind him.
He has blink dagger! I don't know. That was pretty bad. Not gonna lie.
A rough start for Save on a hero that he's looked incredibly stable on this tournament, the Wind Ranger.
Yeah, it's very uncharacteristic for him.
Yeah.
Save is...
Okay, let's have a look here. He's absolutely in range of the vision. Like, he thought he was... Okay, when he started channeling was exactly when Flyfly turned around. It was unfortunate.
All right, so just bad luck then.
Yeah. Or well played by Flyfly. A bit of both.
Yeah, it looked worse live for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say Save in the world... top 5 supports. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, I agree.
He's so good. Save will get a nice D-ward. As we get into the Wisdom Shrine battle, Baboka. Gonna see some illusions here. It looks like it'll just be given though, as The other side, GPK finds a fly Kunkka, which would be a huge kill for them. Gets slowed, but I don't see them catching up here. So ends up being a trade of the Shrines.
And they will let Niero take this, so one of the supports in BetBoom, which is saved, will be quite underleveled.
I mean, his level 6 is not
exactly.
very important at all.
I really love this choice, specifically with Windranger. I think it's the least important level 6 in the entire game for supports. Because you don't even skill focus fire a lot of the time anyway.
Yeah.
So it's 1 extra point in Shackle Shot or whatever. The bigger part about getting level 6 on Windranger, honestly, is getting closer to level 7. Kind of strange.
Oh, a snowball onto Kiritech, blocked as well. Yeah, he used it aggressively, so a second death for the Weaver. And this is going to hurt BetBoom in this early stages of the game. 1K lead right now for Yakult. XP definitely in their advantage.
Misery was talking about this on the panel, how Yakult is pretty limited in the team fight aspect. The way you compensate for that is if you do well in lanes, you can itemize your way out of some things you're lackluster. Like let's say your team fight isn't the best, but you have a gold lead, you get an extra Orchid or something to effectively disrupt enemy team fight, therefore making yours better. With the kind of start they have, they're not going to buy Orchid on any of their heroes except maybe on Emo. It's more like the concept of this early advantage can be transformed into solving problems that otherwise, let's say the lanes were even, you as a team would be hesitant to take a specific type of fight that could now potentially be unlocked. Reel in right now. Shackle Shot.
He should be dead. Beyond. He's going to get the Viper Strike off as reinforcements have arrived. The Weaver wants to take him out. He will time-lapse back to safety as Baboka gets a nice snowball onto Kataomi. So they get the 2 supports, but the core goes down on the Yakult side.
That's that Viper advantage. If the early laning stage did not go this well, he's not going to be that tanky and delay that fight for as long as he did. But with Tread's double Wraithband and Blade of Alacrity, he has really high armor. So these right-clicking heroes such as Weaver with the Deluge from Naga, it just takes really long. And of course, that's the thing about Deluge. It doesn't give minus armor anymore. So the synergy isn't as obvious as it used to be between these two heroes. When you had minus armor on the... This is a quite old Naga by now. With the old minus armor version.
Yeah, this one's kind of weird.
Yeah, it caps their movement speed, but Viper doesn't care because he didn't try to run. He's just standing there like, all right.
Fly had the Talisman of Evasion on his courier, which is now killed. He's going to get roared. The boat's coming out, though. He is completely surrounded. And they even have that, whatever that neutral is called, giving them extra damage. You can hear every single proc going off as GPK takes him out.
Oh, they have 3 of it. Interesting. I guess they really want to run that when they have Beastmaster and Naga Illusions.
Ripper's Lash versus Chipper. Yeah. There's 3 Chippers on the other side.
Chip versus Rip.
So tier 1, 2 BetBoom.
In the meantime,
back to a 1K lead.
Looking to get the trade off at top, which should bring the gold back up to 2K again. But I don't know if they can finish this here. No wave.
I don't know if you noticed, but Baboka ended up in the enemy side with it where the bounties were. It took 3 bounties earlier.
Oh.
That's like 750 overall net worth that they ended up getting.
Yeah.
So actually is mattering a bit here, it feels like. Emo working on the Witchblade, of course. And from his perspective, I feel like the only question mark when it comes to the builds on Storm Spears is how fast do you get a BKB or whatever type of Dispel.
And whether you get Witchblade or Orchid first, right?
Yeah,
it's also sometimes a consideration. I think in this game it's fine to go for the Witchblade. You just want high output. You want to make sure you can kill the heroes when you get the jump. You already have Global Silence as well, so it can be maybe a little bit too much overkill in that department.
Catch, Global Silence, the zip.
Too easy.
He's dead.
You gotta be really careful to go and hit creeps on half HP in this game. On any hero. The only hero that can somewhat reliably do it is TA with Refraction running. Otherwise, you could just get globaled and storm jumped, just as we saw there.
Yeah, well, GPK on that TA, first pick overall, top net worth in the game. Rest of his course, not so great. The reel in with the shackle shot. This is going to be the death of Baboka.
That was a really nice shackle.
Didn't look like that should have.
Well, he cast it from the creep onto the hero, right? He found the angle from the left side. Pretty nice. But yeah, this has been quite possibly Kiritic's worst start to any game this tournament. I'm curious to see him
well, we should also
try to recover this.
Ooh, close one. Should also mention Miero. He's not exactly super farmed on the Beastmaster.
True.
Usually gets off to a much better start than this. Did go for the Helm of the Dominator, so not the Ags build-up. And the Helm of the Overlord will be soon coming out. How much pressure can they really put on Yakult at the moment? It feels like you need a Blink Dagger on the Beast.
Yeah.
Don't really have much initiation without that.
I mean, you could also look at it from the alternative perspective. How much pressure do they need to put on Yakult? As long as you're scaling all three of your cores, I think your especially support Naga can be a massive asset in this game. If he can get to a point where he has a removal of silence, like the panel was talking about, going Greaves, he's actually going Glimmer first, which I kind of disagree with here for that exact reason. If he has Greaves, he can just remove Global and use Song of the Siren, and that becomes an infinitely better save than a singular Glimmer Cape is. So I would have really liked to see that. Of course, I'm not going to say the Glimmer is bad, because it isn't. It counters a lot of different stuff here. But the Greaves would be massive in this one.
Oh, he spots out the smoke.
Nice.
He breaks up everything, gets the Blink Dagger off, wants to go for Ollie. The Global Silence coming out. The rest of his team is nearby. GPK is melting, gets punched into the air. Still technically alive, and the Song of the Siren to save GPK. Will Refraction TP out? The rest of his team wants to fight, though. It's a beautiful Shackle shot. Storm Spirit dead. A big boat comes in, though, from Fly, deletes two heroes. Miero and his Triceratops, though, continuing to fight. Kiritic gets brought back with the X, and double kill for Fly. Now it's Miero against the world. Even his Triceratops has fallen. Slow to a crawl, has another Axis to work with. Will use it as GPK. Yeah, he comes in. Does have to be careful with Beyond, though. And now the Radiance online for Fly. I thought he actually had it for this fight, but just a little bit off.
I wonder if that was a mistake from GPK to TP out. I understand he was on 2% health, but he had Refraction running, and they had a really good 2-hero Shackle shot.
Yeah.
If he's a part of that play instead of TPing away, they chose the fight regardless.
It's possible. It's tough to say.
It was a 4v4. Viper wasn't there either, so in terms of numbers, it's just such a big part of BetBoom's lineup is having TA deal damage. So GPK TPing out there, you could have disengaged fully then if you wanted to. It's not, by no means was that a disaster, of course, but it did turn into a bit of a win for Yakult that was probably avoidable.
Yeah.
In either of the other two versions.
The biggest issue for BetBoom is Kiritic, bottom net worth on the core side of things. He has 5 deaths already in this game.
This hero with 5 deaths early is just such an anomaly. This just doesn't happen to Weaver. Make it 6?
Yeah, possibly. Time lapse. They have the vision. They have the stun. There's no Song of the Siren to work with. They're turning it around, though. They take out Emo, the ensnare. Very clutch from Kataomi, and Kiritic will live. Double kill for GPK.
Easy bait, never doubted.
Yep, no doubt about it. Kataomi chasing Ollie now. The trap does slow him, as GPK will misses once. Does he have the Sister's Underwear? I think so.
Yeah.
Triple kill for GPK.
I like that. Let's start calling it that. Instead of Sister's Shroud, it's called his Sister's Underwear. That's very good. Can get on board with that. Here comes Roche, TA with amp damage, and Deso. Throw a little bit of a swarm in there for good measure if you want. Yeah, so they're going to get this. And that's such a massive turnaround on Kiritic, and DSJ was talking about this on the panel. The Dire lineup, if you win a fight, you just get objectives. They push fast, they kill towers, they take Roche. Everything within their reach, and now GPK about to get the Shard, which will be massive in this game. You're playing against Storm, playing against Tusk.
Oh, they want to try to burn the Aegis. Kataomi with the song, though. And GPK is actually, oh my god, he almost dies there. to the nether
Wow, that was
toxin.
close.
That is insane, the amount of damage.
And Kataomi will also get out with a Glimmer. This should probably cost them a tower, so this wasn't all in vain for Yakult, but they would have loved to get the Aegis in addition.
Dire's middle
Yeah, with
tower
that still in
has
hand now
fallen.
for GPK, maybe BetBoom will be eager to fight back.
Radiant's top tower
Not
has
like
fallen.
Yakult committed anything, though, so just brought the numbers.
So on the Viper, since it's the most unique hero, looks like Hurricane Pike, and that's it. What do you want to see on this hero?
Wait, this is new, right? Hang on. It's new that you can X mark the Overlord creep, isn't it?
You can?
Yeah, because it's a creep hero.
Huh.
So now Flyfly actually killed the Overlord creep by Xing it twice.
Huh.
I don't know. That looked unusual to me, so I'm gonna say that's new. It's just such a random niche interaction.
No, they're gonna find the Ancient Prowler, most famous for rooting enemies and being a green card in Artifact.
Miro literally just took that, sent it straight back to Flyfly and let him kill it again. He just got 500 gold.
You do have to be careful.
All right. Yeah.
Got it.
You also lose a bit of farm efficiency. Not too much, but
Dire's
We have an
top
idea that
tower
Emo is
under
here,
attack.
so it'll be hard to pick him up though. He's 1,800 into his BKB to come. His GPK 2,100 into his. Fly gets off the boat, getting slowed, and GPK making his way over the global silence. The Tusk snowball, they don't want to go in apparently. That was a retreat snowball. He's going to get ensnared for his troubles, taken out swiftly. The rest get out though. Thought for sure they're going to try to turn that, but probably for the best.
yeah, that was a little bit awkward. So they started with the roar and then they TP in the TA. So she's not doing damage during the roar. And the connection does happen, but they only get the support kill. Still, it's something for BetBoom. They retain control of their half of the map.
I wanted to bring something up. I think it's an interesting conversation. And I'm not saying I don't understand why, but you know how Tiny plays mid as like this utility a lot of times? I feel like we never see, like, let's say somebody's having a hard game like this Weaver. I have to hold that thought. He's X'd, might be having a harder game here pretty soon. Snowballed up, uses the Essence Ring.
He has Manta and time left. He's not going to die.
Yep, he does. You say that. He's half HP. There's the song. He dies! Literally 3 seconds after Synderen said he cannot die.
All right. Do you want me to put the asterisk here, or is it implied?
You
Of
have
course
to
he can-
use the Manta.
Of course he can die if he jumps into 5 heroes. He was already out with Shukuchi, and then he ran into them.
Yeah.
Just thought he was safe. I mean, he absolutely was fine if he ran away, but he ran in and kind of got caught off guard. You can see the frustration here on Kiritich's face, not having the best game of his life here. 2-6 now. But I can understand from his from his perspective why he thought he could get away with that. Specifically, you have Manta, you have ult. You just need to get one off. You will get off the other. But they found the perfect chaining of stuns from Yakult, and you're welcome for the curse, of course.
Yeah,
anytime.
just incredible.
So you were saying about going utility if you're having a bad game. On which hero?
Well, so, like, look at Weaver having a really, really bad game, right? Hold that thought again, Synderen. Miero
Holding it.
gets off the roar. Looks like another creep bites the dust. They'll get out though. And you have, so you're playing Weaver as a position 1. You're having a really bad game, and it's hard for this hero to get back into the game, I feel like. You have TA. You're both kind of the same thing. You're physical damage. You can almost play this like a Weaver utility, going like Ags, you know, all this weird stuff. It's not the same hero as Tiny, I know.
Right.
But I feel like there's got to be some angle there that makes a little bit of sense, you know?
If you have enough damage in the other heroes, you could technically pivot.
Boca getting chased by Kiritich. Kataomi ensnare. Well, the snowball will come first. He's going to be brought back into the arms of the rest of BetBoom, who still have the Aegis, by the way. We actually forgot about that. Feels like haven't really been fighting.
Yeah, they didn't really get to use it. It's running out now for GPK. But they did get the Tormentor as well. That went over to Kataomi, so get the upgraded Song of the Siren. I think they would have much rather had Gale Force for free. Poor old save. We'll have to buy that one. But still, Naga is getting farmed, working on those Greaves. So they're on the way.
Under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
And this feels like a game where you could absolutely justify Greaves into Lotus. I think having both Dispels is completely fine. You can Dispel yourself with the Greaves and then an ally with the Lotus. It's also good against Viper.
Or GPK actually gets to the high ground. E-Blade, or Ethereal, onto the Silencer to stay alive. Emo focusing all his pressure onto the Glimmered Miero. Doesn't have vision any longer. And GPK with the BKB and running away. Kataomi gets off his images, but that is all he's going to do this fight. Dead. And Song just came up after that, too. Unfortunate timing. His save getting pursued even further. Nice shackle onto 2. This Storm is out of mana right now. There's not much follow-up because both supports dead for BetBoom. Another X. Kiritich. Is this going to happen again? Time lapse is a little bit early. The TPs are coming from the buyback on the Windrunner, but they lose the Weaver. My goodness, this is a very messy fight. Roar now onto Kiritich. Right clicks from GPK, but he's getting controlled now. He's getting extremely low. No Aegis to work with any longer. Down goes GPK. Just a very discombobulated fight from BetBoom. Didn't feel like they were on the same page at all.
Yeah, I think disaster is maybe a little bit too big of a word, but that was definitely not great for them. We're starting to see a little bit of the problem here with the Weaver's early laning stage. Not only is he still getting killed, but he also had to itemize like this. He's just not doing damage. Manta, Falcon Blade, Dragonlance. GPK has to kill the heroes. Nobody else is going to do it. This game we're going well on the Weaver. He'll be looking at a much stronger inventory right now with some sort of critical strike. Maybe he could have bought a Deso and GPK could have... I guess you have to buy Deso on TA, probably.
So back to my topics.
Yeah. I mean, imagine the Weaver went full utility. It would be even worse. Like, they would just not be able to kill anyone. Yeah. I think...
Okay.
I just think it's... But on a conceptual level, there will be specific heroes and specific situations where what you're saying is possible. I don't think it would work this game on Weaver. I think GPK, you cannot expect your TA to kill this lineup on itself. Or on its own. You need, especially with the Viper counter matchup, you have to have a secondary carry to deal with that.
Manta now there for Beyond. Is it going to get the Atos onto the Tusk? Shackle. Should be a kill here. And Beyond forcing the rest out. So Kiritich with Manta Dragonlance, and that's it at the moment. Suffering big time.
Yeah, and he's going to start building into Crystallis because Deso is kind of off the table when TA already has it. Begs the question if you should have rushed Maelstrom and tried to get farmed.
Yep, true. Black Dragon is ganked. So Miero, another creep, bites the dust. 250 gold.
I think they've killed 5 of his Ancients now. It adds up.
It adds up to a gem for Ollie. That will likely be put on Emo.
Yeah, they tend to do this. Allow him to reliably stick on top of the Weaver, deal with the meld. Obviously, D-Ward goes without saying, but we'll say it anyway.
Rosh can spawn at any time. Of course, BetBoom knows whenever that Rosh spawns.
This is... Oh, he missed it.
He missed it. Swarm comes out, going to connect on 2. Save. Going to get the Atos. They're going to continue to try to go on top of Beyond. It's going to cost Save his life, but if they can get this Viper, it's going to be worth it. Hurricane Pike, though, from Beyond. He's way far away. Kiritich cannot catch up any longer.
Just yet another instance where you see the Weaver damage issue, right? That, under normal circumstances, is absolutely a Viper kill. But it's not hitting for anything.
Another creep bites the dust. Do you think this maybe was a game for Beast to go Ags?
No, not really. I don't think... I think what Miero did was correct for the game. It was other... Like, it's obviously... certain things that you do, you can end up regretting because of the way the game plays out. But you're not in control of, as Beastmaster, of how your top lane goes, right? It's just... There's just bits and misses this game. The BetBoom have made mistakes they don't characteristically make. The top lane went very poorly. And Yakult have taken full advantage of that. If Miero would have gone Ags instead, then you're effectively all in on the damage and don't have the utility and the push that would have been great to have if things were going according to plan.
Right.
So it's always easy in hindsight to be like, oh, my carry did poorly, I should have carried. It's kind of a logical fallacy that people fall into this trap a lot in pub games as well.
I think the reason I bring it up is just because like you have these games where you're going really well and the supports kind of turn to carries, or the carry supports like the Slarks end up buying so much utility they're ridiculously farmed. Because like you never really see those switch ups when you're behind, right? It's just set in stone. I'm the one, you're the two.
Right.
Where maybe in some scenarios, it's probably rare though, to be fair, that maybe it would make more sense to switch it up.
It's easier to pivot from a support into a core than vice versa. Inside the game itself, when you're already assigned an amount of farm early. Oh, this would be a really big grab from the side of Yakult. This is meant to be BetBooms with their lineup. They will not get it. They'll trade it for a tier 2 tower. If Kataomi knew that this was happening, he might have walked over and tried to do a cute song steal, but not gonna happen. Aegis now.
Or Fly.
I thought it was going on Emo.
There's a 4K net worth advantage over number 2, which is GPK.
I think this is the first TA I have seen not be top net worth minute 28.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Up Kiritich. Uh-oh. He cannot afford to die here.
He doesn't have Manta ready.
Attempting to TP out. He's just going to die. So another death to the Weaver's name. Kiritich. Number 8.
Oh, don't tell me he's buying BKB now. No. He bought the Mithril Hammer. He's gonna do...
Looks like it.
All right, that's there it is. The ZDPS carry officially has come to Dota. He also doesn't have his shard. He didn't buy that. It was 28 minutes in.
Yeah.
There's a lot to wish for here. Just
maybe
not
he'll
his
get it
game.
on Tormentor someday.
Yeah.
He actually would be in contention to get it if they took out the Tormentor. Because Save and Kataomi both have theirs.
Yeah. True. It's tough. Playing Weaver from this far behind is just a major challenge. The reason the net worth lead is only 3K is because Kataomi has so much on the Naga Siren.
Yeah.
Good, but can he convert his net worth into damage?
You said it's easier to turn a support into a carry, Cinder.
Yeah. In theory, if the Naga were to do it now and transition into a core and the game went late enough, this could win them the game. Because this is technically a game that carry Naga can actually do quite a lot in. You're only really worried about the Kunkka and a bit of maybe some AoE Storm Spirit damage. But like the road,
a long way away.
The road is long. Get to there.
Look at this lead. It's 4K only. It's not really massive.
It just is, though, because of how much of this gold is on the Naga, right? Like, how much bang for your buck are you getting from your 11K net worth Naga Siren? You have Song of the Siren that heals. That's 1,400 of it. And then you have some defensive utility items. But you just don't kill heroes right now. You have to get there. BetBoom need to... I think they need to play keep away for a while and find a way to either get GPK to critical mass or somehow bring Kiritich into the game. The good news for them is that the Radiant don't push very fast.
True. Kataomi gets gone on. Trying to lay their stuns here. He's dead.
And he's worth quite a bit because of his net worth. That's
Yeah,
a
true,
decent
true.
kill. Like 700 gold right there. A 1K gold swing killing the enemy 4 at 30 minutes. Quite nice.
2.5 minutes on the Aegis. And there is only one tier 2 in the bottom lane. We'll see if they try to poke the high ground. Their push... Well, they have Viper Shard, so it actually is fine.
It's okay. It takes some time to ramp up, but definitely that is the way they can do it. I think this fight is incredibly difficult for BetBoom. Let's see if they can pull it off. This 2-life Kunkka with Satanic. Do they have the damage?
And Gale Force put the Rosh's banner down. They're going to start things out onto the Kunkka. Half HP. Well, Satanic. Gets a little bit of HP back. Atos now. The long poke. As Beyond will be able to claim the tier 3.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
As there's the zip in emo.
Oh, that's a good
onto
shackle.
GPK, shackle onto 2. Where's the follow-up? Nothing. Just the swarm.
It did force out the ghost ship, though. This might be disengage time for your Yakult soon.
They can try to burn this Aegis. That's what it's all about. Another beautiful shackle onto 2. The double power shot. They're going to be able to get the Miero with the initiation onto Beyond. He's dead. Fly. Looks like he's going to be reeled into their base. That's going to be life number 1. And now he's separated from his team. Meanwhile, on the backside, Kiritich does get off the time lapse. Fly, he's still something to fear, despite not having anybody near him. He's going to pop the BKB. His Emo focusing now into GPK. Gets off the refraction, though. And there's the song to try to save him, but Fly has the BKB along with Emo, and they burn through GPK in the end. Emo, though, he's out of mana. He gets dropped, and nice shackle shot again from Save as Fly. He's left to his own devices as the silencer is going to fall next. Can he stay alive here? Doesn't have the BKB. It's all about the chase. Kiritich, he'll have chase for days with this Shikuchi, as Kataomi with the Greaves allows him to use the Ensnare again. And now Save with, feels like his 20th shackle in this fight alone. And Fly, you can see how hard he is to take down. Gets off the boat on top of all of that, but the power shot finishes the job, and BetBoom somehow win the fight.
Holy shit, Save is good at this hero.
They lose 1 life. That's crazy. They killed 6.
That was a true support.
Every shackle felt like it was on 2 heroes.
Just a full-on support show. Every Gale Force, every shackle shot, everything landed from Save back to back to back to back there. And they needed it too, is the crazy part. If he doesn't play this fight as like a 10 out of 10, but an 8 out of 10, they lose Barracks. Like, that had to be perfect, and it was. So, hats off, and they find the right opening. And on top of that, Yakult messed up a little bit, right? They go for the Viper with the shackle shot. They burn the Roar on him, and somehow Baboka did not get him in the snowball fast enough. He blinked in, cast snowball, didn't pick him up. They globaled after the Roar came out. No, that left a little bit to be desired for Yakult, so both teams... BetBoom, perhaps you could say, performing a little bit better than you could have expected there, and Yakult a little bit worse, and that's the cocktail it takes to break the entire lead down now. And the biggest winner in all of this is Weaver. He gets to start playing soon.
Another Roar. Global silence, but the Tusk is already dead. Beyond wants to try to take advantage of this silence timing. Emo jumps in onto Save the BKB TP for Miero. And that means they'll have to settle for the support. Of course, the support is what destroyed them in that last fight. Likely will feel very good for Emo, but global silence down.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
This allows Kiritich. I mean, he stayed alive in that fight, so...
Yeah, the BKB paid off.
He's only 1,000 behind the Storm now.
Yeah, he's...
Looks like he's going to finish the Daedalus before getting shard? Is that...
Looks like it.
I mean, is Tormentor up? I mean, that could be something that they prioritized.
It is up. Top half. It would be great for them to get it, absolutely.
Yeah, if he gets the 50-50, it's going to be huge for his game.
I would say the ideal thing to do here is if you can, kill the Tormentor, and then if you get the shard, perfect. If you don't, you snap by it. I think you want this for the next fight, and if you... Or rather, also just for the downtime. It's just such a feels-good item on this hero, but... Okay, he just ended up buying it regardless.
Okay.
They didn't even try for the Tormentor first. Now he has it.
No, Tormentor's bottom now, right?
Yep.
So. AC now online for Miero.
Yeah, he's starting to really hurt.
He's in the top 3.
He's quietly just had a very stable game. He's 5-1 and 5.
So, what are your thoughts on Viper scaling? Because back in the day, it was trash.
Yeah.
Then the 25 talent, which made you universal, made him good all of a sudden in like extreme late game. And then now they've gotten rid of it.
Yeah.
Back to trash late game?
No, it's never going to be trash, but I still think it's much more of an anti-carry than an actual carry now,
Baboka
right?
finds the punch onto Save. But there's the Gale Force. It's going to be blocked off by the shards. X back into the arms of the rest of Yakult.
Yeah, I think you're playing a lot on... He is going a carry build, right? He's going the Skadi, Manta, Pike. It just should not be as strong as what you were used to seeing from the Universal version in late game. Trash is a big word, but...
No, well, it's only a few letters, you know?
It's like... It's okay. The main thing is getting off a good Viper Strike and then being able to stick on the target.
Ancient Prowler and all his ancestors have been just massacred by Fly. Surprised they have not gone extinct. I wonder, what if you killed a certain amount of them? They become extinct for the rest of the game. And the creeps just stop spawning entirely.
Yeah, we should have that for neutral camps in general. They should just stop spawning.
Oh, Miero, big roar. The silence is going to do nothing. Emo just gets insta-gibbed. That was such a short amount of time.
Yeah, this is becoming quite awkward now for Yakult with the way the lanes are pushed out. All 3 waves are now crossing the river. You're playing against TA traps. You're playing against a Beastmaster that can just jump you from fog and kill you. You can get caught by Naga. You can get caught by Shackle. Everyone on BetBoom poses a kill threat, and you do not have any map control. So now Yakult need to be very careful. You saw the Storm test the waters there and get blown up. Now you're going to lose the Rosh as well. This is enormous. They're going to
actually contest another Toxin inside. Yeah, he does have the buyback onto Emo. Gale Force. Fly jumps in pretty deep. Triceratops about to die as well. There's the the song from Kataomi, which will allow GPK to get the Aegis and all the goodies, and everybody will exit
clean.
Other than the Triceratops, who is left alone. Sad thing has died again.
Wow, what a great Roshing lineup. You have a hero that can see when it spawns, and you have a hero that can sleep the entire enemy team if they come to contest you. That's really, that's really rich.
But you have to be out of range of Rosh, right? Because you sleep Rosh, don't you?
Not anymore, right?
Is that what they changed?
Wait, now am I remembering this wrong? Was he, did he do perfect spacing there on Kataomi? Because they did kill the Rosh while he was singing, right?
Yeah, they did. Kataomi getting chased. X brings him back. He's going to pop the Greaves, but will drop. 50 seconds. Does have buyback here, though, if they really need to expand it. As Kiritich getting gone on by Emo. A little time lapse. It's the swarm off. It's just a 1v1 right now, so Kiritich, despite being dusted, will get back to base. Global Silence used again as Beyond wants to push, and they're not going to use the Global for anything. I guess they use it for Fly to get away. He's going to Satanic back on yet another creep from Miero. He is their sugar daddy this game. Can't imagine how much gold that they have gained on his creeps alone. And they're going to attempt high ground again, despite not having the Aegis. Beyond will focus on the range barracks first. We'll get it. Gale Force, though. Oh, they got Shackle as well. That's a lot of damage on the GPK. That's life number 1 for him. Kiritich gets off the time-lapse in time, along with the BKB. Might have to go heal, though. And Beyond doing quite a bit to GPK. They're going to force out his BKB now. Spaces out nicely. Naga Siren has arrived as the ensnare with the reel in. Kunkka. Swarm to follow. They actually going to lose this barracks? No, they're going to get the roar off from Miero. Pops the BKB. The snowball very short-lived. There's the roar onto the Viper. Now all the focus onto him. He's dead. Fly. GPK has to be careful. Pops the Refraction. Gets the Hurricane Pike off as well. Torrent's going to hit a couple of heroes as Fly. Continuing to pursue GPK, but the Song of the Siren will stop him in his tracks and heal his team. Only 2 members of Yakult up, and likely not for long. GPK can keep the distance. They destroy the Kunkka, and Silencer follows suit. All 5 dead for Yakult, and they're going to force some buybacks here.
Oh yeah, this is going to cost you multiple ones because of how fast you push with these heroes, Beastmaster and TA. Gonna very quickly start piercing through this, and I mean, brave of Yakult to go for that, fighting into the Aegis in the enemy team's base. It's high risk, high reward.
Buyback number 1.
Yeah. Oh, no.
This is through back door.
This is not enough. They're gonna
buyback number 2. 34 seconds for the Storm.
GPK now has his level 25 talent, which is huge on this hero.
All right, Boat coming for Kiritich. She's very low, gets off the time-lapse in time. And now the 2 more buyback coming out from Yakult. Kataomi with a nice ensnare. Shackle shot. Emo's not going to connect fully. Pops the BKB. Tidal Wave onto 2 heroes. Save getting quite low. Now the Global available if they need it. So Save the only casualty here for BetBoom. If they can get out with everybody else, Invis Rune. Ooh. Tasty treat for Kataomi. So they force out several buybacks and only lose 1.
4 buybacks burnt there to get the singular kill on a support. Doesn't get much better than that in an ultra late game situation here for BetBoom. I say ultra late, it's 40 minutes in. Seems like nowadays late game comes earlier. These heroes are starting to be very fat.
Yeah, I think we're in divine territory for the Kunkka. And I don't know if it's just bad memory, Cinderin. I feel like we have not seen the Divine win a game for Kunkka. Right? It feels like they're always on the back foot and they just never turn it around. But there's no other item you can really go for. I mean, the Radiance is losing some of its luster at this point.
Oh, lots of it. Should just replace it for a Rapier now. He spent his buyback, so he might as well.
Yeah.
I think the Sanjin Yasha is more valuable than the Radiant, so you can just disassemble now. Get that Rapier going. Wouldn't mind seeing that. He might just go for it right now. He got himself an Amplify damage rune in the bottle. Yep, there we go. It's time for the Hail Mary for the Yakult brothers and the dagger.
Tournament lives on the line for Yakult. Remember, this is an extremely important series for them. They lose, they're out.
Should note about the Song of the Siren that you asked about with Roche. I went through Naga's change logs and searched for Roshan. In 2012, fixed Song of the Siren affecting Roshan. So, I cannot say...
Smokes are going to combine here. The roar comes out. The global silence as well. BKB in time for Miero. They're going to get the Tusk right off the bat. Kiritich gets the time lapse off in time. And now Fly looking for some sort of connection. A beautiful shackle shot again onto 2. As Beyond getting bounced around like a ping pong ball. He will drop to the deck. Song of the Siren, uh-oh. Kunkka has left the premises. 2 remaining members of Yakult. Emo has to burn the BKB. He is taking tons of damage despite having all of this zippingness to work with, whatever the hell that means. Gets back to base though. So they have the buyback on the silencer. They can get 3 members at most for Yakult. BetBoom.
They're not going to stop. Be it, right? How can you possibly lose a 5v3 here?
Well, to Kunkka Divine.
Kunkka Divine and Storm, I suppose. Like if you get a little bit of a lucky crit here and there.
He kills some creeps.
They have the banner though.
They do. And
this
now the buildings will melt. This is going to go from 0 lanes, 0 barracks taken, I should say, for BetBoom into 3 sets in all likelihood. Fly going to try to focus everything onto the Weaver, but they have enough resources for BetBoom to keep him alive. Second lane evaporating as well. The problem is Fly can't really get in undetected. We need like a Shadow Blade or a Blink. Well, I guess he does have a Blink with the X. But still, with the refraction on GPK...
Yeah, you just do nothing to the TA.
Oh, gets a big crit onto Kiritich. Time lapses it off, though. Now the shackle onto the Kunkka. GPK and company focusing all their efforts on him. Miero comes in with the roar and a Divine Rapier on the deck. Save of all heroes. Will take it. Global silence to follow. Another double shackle from Save for the road. As Emo barely gets back to base, that is mega creeps in favor of BetBoom. And the Song of the Siren placed, as this is GG for BetBoom. And they're going to be tied for second.